Hi everyone, thank you for joining my YouTube channel. Today episode number 7 is relating to CMA SCS May or August 26 examination window. Today we will be discussing about strategy options, Ansoff Matrix. Alright, let's shift gears now. So far we have diagnosed the problem in first 6 episodes. We have seen the revenue decline. We have seen competitive pressure. But none of that matters unless we answer one question. What do we actually do next? And this is where strategy comes in, but not textbook strategy, real world, constrained, board level decision making. Because here we are not choosing what sounds impressive, we are choosing what actually works. Now, everyone knows the answer of metrics, I believe, right? Penetration, market development, product development, diversification. And here is the mistake most people make. They treat it like a checklist. They go, here are the 4 options. Let's pick one. Or worse, let's recommend all. But just think about that in the real company. You are in a board meeting. You don't get to say, let's do everything. You get one follow-up question immediately. What are we doing first? And that question changes everything. Because now you're not describing the strategy, you are making a decision. So let's apply that properly. Kwirtmak is losing revenue, competitors are taking share, cash generation is weakening. So the priority is not the growth, the priority is survival first and then growth. So what comes first? Market penetration. And not in theory, in very practical terms. We need to win back lost accounts. We need a pricing response to Breskko. We need action within 90 days. This is not strategy as a long-term vision. This is strategy as immediate intervention. Then, once that stabilizes, we move to the market development and specifically medical. Now, this is where people get uncomfortable, right? Because growth is exciting, new products. But let's be honest, if your core business is declining, what exactly are you scaling on? And that's the problem. You don't build on instability. You fix it first, then you expand, and that discipline is what separates strong strategy from the weak answers. Now let's pressure test this. Can Kwirtmak do everything at once? Penetration, development, product, diversification. Sounds great, right? But look at the numbers. Gearing above 60%. Revenue is declining. $432 million dividend. So let me ask you, where is the money coming from? Exactly. It isn't. So this is not a strategic preference. This is a financial constraint. And constraints force prioritization. So instead of thinking in framework, let's think in time. Now, what is required? We stabilize the business, penetration, pricing, customer recovery. And soon we invest in medical, and this is important. This is not random growth. This is targeted, high value, strategically aligned growth. And then later we move into product development once we actually have the capacity to support it. Now let's slow down here because this is the most important move, medical. And what's interesting is Kwirtmak already has the technology, so the problem is not the technology. Problem is not can we build it. The problem is can we get approved? And that's a completely different challenge. This is regulatory EHS approval, which takes 12 to 24 months. So you are investing before revenue actually shows up. But here's why it is powerful. Most people see regulation as a barrier, but at a board level, you see it as a protection. Because once Kwirtmak gets approved, they are inside the market and the competitors can't just follow immediately. Why? Because they need to go through the same process. So what do you get? Time. 12 to 18 months of limited competition. And in strategy, time is advantage. So if you are sitting in the boardroom, this strategy translates into decisions, not theory, decisions. First, approve the 90-day recovery plan. That's immediate. Clear KPIs, executive ownership. Second, commit to medical entry. 50 million investment, stage gated, clear revenue target. And then third, redirect capital. And this is the uncomfortable one. Reduce the dividend, increase the R&D, because strategy without funding is just the intention or wish list. Now let's make this real. Breskko enters medical first. So what do you do? Option A, walk away. That assumes the opportunity is gone. It isn't. Option B, accelerate. That's the right answer. Because first mover advantage is not permanent. Option C, pivot completely. I think it's too extreme. You don't abandon a high value market just because you are second. You respond. Now let's connect this to the exam. A low score answer, list the four quadrants, no prioritization, no financial thinking, no decision. Whereas high score answer sequences, it says this first because of revenue pressure, this second because of the strategic value, this latter because of the capital constraint, and that's the difference, and that's significant. So let's close this properly. Penetration first, stop the decline, medical second, build the next engine, produce later once the business can support it. And the key idea, Ansoff is not a menu, it's a sequence. And that sequence is determined by reality, not ambition. Next episode, we take this strategy into the numbers, and that's where things get interesting. Okay, I'll see you in the next. Thanks for joining.